In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create this simple animation. This is called rigging, where we parent one element to another. Okay, let's see how this works. I'm going to start with a new composition, 1920 by 1080. It only needs to be 17 frames, and I'll say OK. I'm going to bring in my bike, and the first thing I want to do is create the crank, because the rotation on the crank is going to be what establishes the movement of our character. So I'm going to move in here on that. Take the ellipse tool, click in the middle of the crank area here, hold down the Command and the Shift key, and drag out. I'm going to Command and double click on the pan behind anchor point tool, and that will place the anchor point right in the center of the shape layer. Now I'm going to zoom in and create the pedal using the rounded rectangle tool. Click here and pull out about like that. And then I wanted to get that centered about like that. Looks pretty good. You can double check it by clicking on the ellipse, drag out some guides. So you got the center of the ellipse, and then we can look at the rectangle, and it's pretty close. Maybe I'll move it up just a couple of clicks there. And now I want to start the rotation in position for the first push, probably around here. Click a keyframe for that, and then go to the end of the composition and rotate it one time. Let's see how it looks. Okay, it looks pretty good. It looks solid, not wiggling all around. If we hadn't gotten it perfectly centered, it'd be wobbling all over the place, but it's looking pretty good, so we're in good shape. Let's name that one Crank. And now I'm going to bring in the silhouette just to use it as a reference for creating my body parts, my elements. It needs to be scaled down. I think 60 will do it. And put him up in place here. Somewhere around like that. Pretty good. I'm going to lock that and the bike. And then I'm going to take my pen tool, hide my guys by pressing Command semicolon, then zoom in. And let's start by doing the head. I'm not going to make it real accurate. I'm just going to get a general idea here. Okay, and then let's name that one Head. And next we'll do the torso. Make sure this one is no longer selected. And this will be the torso or the body. And I'm going to include his hips. And kind of like that will work. Torso. Deselect. Let's do this arm. So we've got to get the shoulder in there. And I'm going to adjust it once I get the basic shape. I'm going to turn off or hide the reference so that I can see my actual bike underneath. And let's set the anchor point up so it's right on the shoulder. And then we can rotate this a little bit so that it's down close to the handlebar. It doesn't have to be perfectly accurate, but that looks pretty good right about there. I guess I could move it down a little bit, something like that. Okay, now let's do the, turn the silhouette back on, and let's do the leg parts, the parts of the leg. Let's start with his thigh. Get up here in the hip area, and that will be thigh. I'm going to use a circle and put in a knee here. And then I'm going to do the shin. Name that shin. And then the foot. Okay, now let's, we can get rid of the silhouette, hide it for now, and change the crank colors to black so that we can see our figure more easily. So go into the fill, black, and for the rectangle, fill black as well. And close that up. Now we have to start putting our anchor points in the correct places. So for the head, I'll take the anchor point tool here and let's just put the anchor point right up here where the neck would be. For the torso, I think I put the torso kind of at the hip area. The arm would have to go up to the shoulder, which it already is. Thigh needs to go to the hip, right in here. Knee needs to just go in the center of the knee. Shin should go up to the knee. And foot should go to the ankle. Now we're going to link them or make each one a child of the next one. So the head is going to become a child of the torso, and the arm will also be a child of the torso. The thigh also is going to go to the torso. The knee will go to the thigh, and the shin will go to the knee, and the foot to the shin. Now let's start adjusting things to get this in the right position to start with. I think I'll take the torso and rotate it slightly forward a little bit. That means the arm is going to have to rotate up a little bit like that. Then let's keyframe those. Maybe the head will look up a little bit. We can rotate the head up. Keyframe that. Okay, now let's go into the thigh. Rotate the thigh up. The thigh has to come way up. We have to get it up there to make that first push. Try that. And the knee. So the knee will rotate the shin. So we could have done this without the knee, but the knee sometimes makes it a little bit easier. You could put a circle for each of the joints, and then you have a little bit more control, but I think this works pretty well, so we're going to go with this. Now the shin looks okay. The foot has to come up, and the shin needs to go forward a little bit, and I think the thigh has to come up. So we could take the thigh up like this, and then the shin, I think, could go back a little bit, and maybe the foot. Right about like that. It's not bad. Keyframe all of these, and now we'll go down to we're going to 4 frames, and we'll adjust it so that it is now in the position. So the foot's now down here contacting the pedal as it rotates. Maybe the torso bends down a little bit more. And then the arm will come up slightly. And then the thigh needs to straighten out quite a bit, and we could rotate the knee. That'll bring the shin around, and then the foot come down like that. Maybe the shin needs to come up a little bit, rather the thigh, I mean. Thigh needs to come up. That looks pretty good like that. So it's coming down, pushes it down. I think back here, yeah, that's pretty good. Now we'll go down to 8. And adjust each of these as necessary. So this goes down here. Something like that. I'm going to go ahead and put rotation keyframes for everything anyway. Then go on down to 12. Okay, now it's working. Take the thigh up. That could rotate out more. Foot could rotate, starting to come up. And then we can go to the end. Put keyframes for everything, go to the end here. And really we could copy and paste these first ones, Command C, Command V, So we could do a lot more as far as we can make the head change a little bit. Okay, he goes down. Maybe as he goes down, the head looks up, just to make it a little bit more realistic. And certainly the arms and so forth could move, just to give him a little bit more movement.